Hello fellow citizens, so Metaverse is Josh on Blockchain DXP and today is the 14th of Jan 2023 and the global cryptocurrency market is doing absolutely brilliant and Decentraland is leading the pack not just in the cryptocurrency and blockchain space that is connected to Metaverse but overall in the global cryptocurrency market as well. So looks like Metaverse platforms are definitely benefited because of the uptick in the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Now in today's episode, we are going to be discussing an event that happened last week, and that is the CES 2023. Now, this event covers quite a lot of areas, but in today's episode, I'm only going to be discussing Metaverse-related things. So they had sessions discussing about augmented reality, virtual reality headsets. They also discussed about gaming and esports. Now, they also had sessions about blockchain and digital currencies and NFTs. Now, we won't delve into details, but in today's episode, essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what were the topics that were discussed. Now, it'll be much better to actually watch these presentations because it's really hard to explain augmented reality and virtual reality headset. The experience is completely different in an audio podcast. But if you do want to revisit, I'm going to share the links where you can actually go and watch the video. Now guys, listen, in last week's podcast, I did talk about ChatGPT and I thought this week, once again, let me discuss some information regarding ChatGPT. So what I did, I told ChatGPT to write down the dangers of Metaverse. And I took two sectors, one is business and education. And to be honest, guys, I was completely blown away. So in today's episode, I'll also go ahead and discuss the dangers which were identified by ChatGPT in the Metaverse. The other news that I wanted to discuss, which is connected to the Metaverse, is the news regarding Apple. And there is a rumor that is going on that Apple most likely will be launching its mixed reality headset. Now look guys, it's so critical when you listen to any information that you look at information from the first source. So in today's episode, I'm going to be discussing if the news is legitimate or if it is just rumor. Because on LinkedIn, I'm seeing so many articles talking about Apple getting into the Metaverse. Now looks like that news need not necessarily be 100% correct. Now as we do in every Metaverse Everything podcast, I'm also going to be discussing the top 5 Metaverse news from around the world and top 5 Metaverse news from Dubai. So let's kickstart today's episode. Welcome to Metaverse Everything, the ultimate destination for virtual and augmented reality enthusiasts. The Metaverse is a vast and expanding universe of possibility, and in our show we aim to bring you coverage of every aspect of this exciting new frontier. From gaming and entertainment to socializing and work, the Metaverse is changing the way we live and interact with each other. Each week, we will bring you expert guests who will discuss the latest trends and technologies in the augmented and virtual reality industry and offer practical tips for getting the most out of your Metaverse experience. We'll also explore the social and cultural implication of this rapidly evolving realm and how it's changing the way we communicate and connect with each other. Plus, we'll keep you up to date on the latest Metaverse news from around the world and Dubai and the UAE. Whether you are a seasoned augmented reality or virtual reality enthusiast or just getting started, Metaverse Everything has something for you. Join us as we journey into the Metaverse and discover all it has to offer. From the latest games and apps to the most cutting-edge hardware and software, we'll bring you the inside scoop on everything you need to know to fully immerse yourself in this exciting new world. So tune in and join us on a journey into the Metaverse. Whether you're a seasoned veteran or new to the world of augmented reality and virtual reality, the Metaverse is something for everyone, and we can't wait to share it with you on Metaverse Everything. Now what did you think of the introduction, guys? The introduction was written by ChatGPT. Now let's kickstart by talking about the market cap, the 24-hour trading volume of cryptocurrency and blockchain protocols that are connected to Metaverse. Now what happened a few days ago, the CPI numbers were out and looks like the US inflation is reducing and the inflation is at 6.5%. Now listen guys, if you want to find out more information on where to get the inflation numbers, in my Crypto and Coffee Date podcast, I did go ahead and explain how inflation is calculated and what is the impact it has on cryptocurrency platforms. But nonetheless, looks like because the inflation numbers were reduced, it has had a positive impact on the cryptocurrency and blockchain protocols that are connected to Metaverse. Now, the market cap last week was $8 billion, but because of this news, the market cap only for cryptocurrency and blockchain protocols that are connected to Metaverse has shot up by almost $4 billion. So as of today, 14th of Jan, the market cap is at $11.4 billion. Now, what is really surprising is the 24-hour trading volume. Now, since the last 24 hours, the 24-hour trading volume has shot up by over 45.77%, and as of today, it stands at $2.3 billion. Now look guys, I'm only talking about cryptocurrency and blockchain protocols that are connected to Metaverse. If you look at the global cryptocurrency market, including Bitcoin and Ethereum, it is on the verge of crossing the $1 trillion mark. So it's going to be really interesting to see the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies over the weekend. Now the biggest gainer in the last 24 hours is Decentraland Mana. Now since the last 7 days, it is up by 72.45%. Now if you would have bought Mana, let's say a week ago, your portfolio would have been up by well over 72.45%. So definitely brilliant news. And since the last 24 hours, it is up by 38.47%. Now Decentraland or Mana is still well below its all-time high, and it is currently only at 56 cents. ApeCoin is currently at $4.98. Since the last 24 hours, it is up by 4.14%. Since the last 7 days, it is up by 24.59%. Sandbox or Sand is at 65 cents. And last week, guys, I did talk about Omnico brands. They are on the verge of seeking funds for $1 billion. Now, is that the reason why the price has gone up? Now, it's going to be really interesting to see once they acquire $1 billion funds and when they start investing in it. Now, since the last 7 days, it is up by 50.41%. And since the last 24 hours, Sand or Sandbox is up by 23.73%. Axie Infinity or AXS is at $9.20. Since the last 24 hours, it is up by 16.39%. And since the last 7 days, it is up by 34.30%. Theta Network or Theta is at 90 cents. Since the last 24 hours, it is up by 6.80%. And since the last 7 days, it is up by 18.02%. Now, will this trend continue? I really am not sure, guys, because in my Crypto and Coffee a Day podcast, I did talk about that DCG or Digital Currency Group has the potential to go completely belly up. So I wouldn't be surprised if all the price completely goes down, probably by Monday or Tuesday. And that's one of the reasons I do feel it's really critical to track the price of cryptocurrencies, especially over the weekend. Now let's discuss about a massive event that took place earlier in the month. And this is an event called as CES that was taking place between the 5th and the 8th of Jan, and there were 3,200 exhibitors from 173 countries, territories and regions that were represented. There were 4,700 plus media who were registered for the event. Now CES is the most influential tech event in the world, the proving ground for breakthrough technologies and global innovators, and this is where the world's biggest brands do businesses and meet new partners, and the sharpest innovators hit the stage. Owned and produced by the Consumer Technology Association, or called as CTA, and CES features every aspect of the tech sector. And next year, guys, is going to be taking place in Winchester, Nevada, US from the 9th till the 12th of Jan. Now look, guys, because this is a Metaverse related podcast, I'm going to be discussing few topics that were discussed in CES. And on the 4th, 5th and 6th of Jan, they did talk about Metaverse. Now they did discuss Web3, augmented reality, metaverse and entertainment used by consumers, and this was also in partnership with Hollywood. And there was also a session called as Digital Hollywood. So essentially they were discussing Hollywood streaming and how it's going to have an impact in metaverse. And CES 23 also discussed the trends to watch, which was presented by CTA, that is Consumer Technology Association. Now look guys, if you are one of the companies that were present at the event, or if you try to exhibit your products or protocol, please hit me up because I would definitely love to have you on my podcast. I'd like to interview you guys and I'd like to have an in-depth discussion. Now in the session on the 4th, they also discuss investments in Web3, Metaverse, different apps, artificial intelligence, sporting betting and quite a lot more. And they also discussed the importance of augmented reality and mixed reality headset and how it's going to be revolutionizing the retail and consumer experience. Now there was a lot of emphasis, particularly in the sports, NFTs, and mixed reality headset. And there were also areas where Hollywood is going to be extremely combining the world of Metaverse and the platform for commerce, and Metaverse media leadership was also discussed, and the core emphasis was on augmented reality, virtual reality, and mixed reality headset. They also discussed the immersive at-home experience and streaming using the Internet of Things. Now look guys, with the possibility of 5G, possibly 6G in the next coming years, We might be having newer televisions as well. They also discussed how you can monetize the television, streaming, programming platforms, and industry strategies, keeping in mind Metaverse. Now, the session that was conducted on the 5th and 6th, they discussed how artificial intelligence is going to Hollywood, and there were quite a lot of companies discussing contactless and hologram technologies of the future. Adventures in the edutainment, not advertisement. So it looks like the terminology is going to be added in the dictionary pretty soon. And they also had influencers and actors in the metaverse. And there is a company from Dubai called as Metafluence that talks about the importance of influencers in the metaverse. And look, guys, I do have an interview with the CEO of Metafluence, Armin Wali. So please check that out because he did share some really thoughtful and insightful information about the importance of influencers in the metaverse. So definitely check it out. And on the 5th, they also had Meta Lens for Metaverse. And finally, they also discussed the technical challenges and recent breakthroughs in Metaverse. Now look, guys, if you want to watch the video platform, you can go to the website of CES, that is www.ces.tech, that is C for Charlie, E for Elephant, S for Sugar.tech. Now finally, on the 6th, they discussed Live Longer, Aging Better, and they also discussed the power of aging technology. Now, unfortunately, if you go to the website, you can access the information, but you have to pay a hefty fee of $300. But look, if you're working in the metaverse industry, if you're a startup and a business, you definitely need to check it out. Now, guys, the next thing that I'd like to discuss is ChatGPT. Now, to be honest, I'm completely blown away by ChatGPT, and I'm turning out to be a fanboy of ChatGPT. Now, in my last week's podcast, I did ask ChatGPT to do the introduction, so I thought let me try something different. So what I did in today's podcast, I went to ChatGPT and this is what I typed, guys. I just typed, can you highlight 10 dangers of Metaverse for businesses, and can you make it technical and also make a speech out of it that I could read in my podcast? Now, I was completely blown away what ChatGPT came up with. They essentially pointed out 10 dangers for Metaverse so far as the business is concerned, and the first thing is security risks, intellectual property theft, privacy concerns, lack of regulations, high cost, difficulty in determining authenticity, virtual real estate, exclusive content, dependence on technology, and lack of physical presence. Now look, guys, I also asked them to create a speech, so let me just read out the speech. Now mind you, guys, this is the speech completely written by artificial intelligence. So it says, good morning everyone. As we continue to explore the possibilities of Metaverse, it's important to also consider the potential dangers and challenges that businesses may face when operating in the digital space. And here are the technical dangers to keep in mind. Security risks. The Metaverse is a digital space, and as such it is vulnerable to hacking and other forms of cybercrime. Businesses operating in the Metaverse could potentially have sensitive information stolen or be subject to other forms of cyber attacks, such as distributed denial of services, also called as DDoS, and SQL injection. Second, intellectual property theft. The Metaverse is a global space, and businesses operating there may not have legal protection in every country. This could make it difficult to protect the intellectual property from being stolen or copied, or could lead to intellectual property rights or IPR infringement. Third, privacy concerns. Businesses operating in the Metaverse will have access to a large amount of personal data, which could be used for targeted advertising or other purposes. This could raise privacy concerns among customers and regulators and could lead to compliance issues under data protection laws. Fourth, lack of regulation. The Metaverse is a new and rapidly evolving space, and there is currently little regulation in place to govern its use. This could make it difficult for businesses to operate in the Metaverse without breaking any laws and could lead to legal uncertainty. Fifth, high costs. Setting up and operating a business in the Metaverse can be costly, especially if a company has to create its own virtual world or hire specialized employees to manage it. These costs could make it difficult for small and medium-sized enterprises to participate in the Metaverse. Sixth, difficulty in determining the authenticity. In the Metaverse, it could be hard to determine the authenticity of transactions, goods, and services. This could lead to fraud and other types of abuse and could lead to loss of customer trust. Seventh, virtual real estate. As the Metaverse grows, the need for virtual real estate will also grow. This could lead to speculation and market manipulation, which could make it difficult for businesses to operate in the metaverse and could lead to market inefficiencies. 8. Exclusive content. Some businesses may offer exclusive content in the metaverse. This could lead to a lack of interoperability between virtual worlds, making it difficult for businesses to reach a large audience and could lead to market fragmentation. 9th, dependence of technology. Businesses operating in metaverse will be heavily dependent on technology and including software and hardware. This could lead to disruptions if the technology fails or becomes obsolete and could lead to business continuity risks. Lack of physical presence. In the metaverse, businesses don't have physical presence. This could lead to lack of trust and difficulties in building relationships with customers and could lead to reduced customer loyalty. In conclusion, it is important for businesses to consider these potential dangers when entering metaverse and to take appropriate steps to mitigate them. Thank you. Now, what do you think, guys? I was completely blown away with what ChatGPT could write, particularly for a podcaster. Absolutely brilliant stuff. Now, what I was a little bit surprised that when I told them to write 10 dangers of metaverse for schools, it did give out similar points, but 5 of these points were linked to businesses as well. Although the topics were the same, the content was catered to schools. So I thought, let me just skip that. So what I did, I asked them to write 5 points which were dangers only to the school industry. So the 5 points that ChatGPT came up was limited teacher support, inappropriate content, limited accessibility, technical difficulties, and lack of standardization. So according to OpenAI and artificial intelligence, these are the 5 dangers in the metaverse, keeping in mind the schooling industry. And once again, I asked them, why not write a speech for me? So let me just read it out and I'll try to keep it as short and sweet as possible. So listen to the speech written by ChatGPT. As we continue to explore the possibilities of metaverse, it's important to also consider the potential dangers and challenges that school may face when operating in this digital space. Here are the 5 dangers to keep in mind. Limited teacher support. The metaverse is a new technology and there may be a limited support for teachers in terms of training, resources, and technical assistance. This could lead to difficulties in creating and delivering effective lessons and could lead to difficulties in assessing student progress. Second, inappropriate content. The metaverse is a global space and it may be difficult for schools to control and monitor the content that students are exposed to. This could lead to students being exposed to inappropriate content or cyberbullying. Third, limited accessibility. Some students may not have access to the technology required to participate in the metaverse, which could lead to an unequal distribution of educational opportunities, particularly for low-income students. Fourth, technical difficulties. With the metaverse being a digital space, technical difficulties such as internet connectivity, platform compatibility, and other technical issues could impede the smooth functioning of the classes and could lead to learning disruptions. Fifth, lack of standardization. Different virtual worlds and platforms in the metaverse could have different standards for creating and delivering lessons, which could make it difficult for teachers to create and deliver effective lessons and could lead to confusion among students. In conclusion, it is important for schools to consider the potential dangers when entering the metaverse and to take appropriate steps to mitigate them. Additionally, it's important to ensure that all students have equal access to metaverse so that no student is left behind. Thank you. Now listen, guys, this is the speech written by Metaverse, and what is really surprising and scary is that they have written this speech in just 3 seconds. Now what kind of an impact will this have on Metaverse? Now what I think of is, let's say if you were to create an avatar, and if you can connect this avatar to ChatGPT and using some kinds of voice recognition, it could be possible that an avatar will be able to communicate. So absolutely brilliant stuff and scary at the same time. Now guys, let's discuss the news about Apple. Now I've been reading quite a lot of posts on LinkedIn that Apple is getting into the metaverse. Now hold your horses, guys. This news need not be 100% authentic yet. At this point of time, I really am not sure if this is legitimate news or rumor, but based on my opinion, looks like this news is just rumor based on the author's opinion. So what happened is that the article was published by Bloomberg, and if you read through the article, you can tell that it is only the author's opinion, and the author's name is Mark Gurman. Now, there is no direct link or absolutely no official, so let me just give you a summary, but I'd really recommend you to read through it because what is happening is, because of this article written by Bloomberg, other mainstream medias are taking this article and making it seem as though it is 100% sure that Apple is releasing the mixed reality headset. Now, in the article, the author claims that Apple may announce the mixed reality headset at the Worldwide Developer Conference, which is going to take place in June. And guys, the article clearly states that it's only the mixed reality headset and not much more, which means Apple is definitely not looking keen of getting into the metaverse. Now, the name that is given for the headset is the Reality Pro, but this name is not by Apple. This is just the author's opinion. If you read through the article, the author clearly mentions that he did write about Apple launching the augmented reality headset in 2017, so it's almost 5 years, and unfortunately, that did not happen. Now, based on the article, the author also feels that the operating system used is called as Alice, but will be publicly named by XROS. Now, again, guys, you need to remember that this is only the author's opinion. Unfortunately, there is no direct link or official source. And looking at the news surrounding cryptocurrency and blockchain, I have to say that this is unfortunately just rumor. But that thing being said, guys, Apple getting into the mixed reality headset will be an absolutely game changer. They do have absolutely loyal fans. The industry would be benefited by it, and I do feel that by Apple getting into the metaverse, there will be a general awareness in the community. Now, if you've heard Tim Cook's interview, he's definitely not a fan of metaverse, but he's definitely very keen so far as virtual reality headset is concerned. I haven't heard any interviews of him where he's talked about augmented reality or mixed reality headset, but the fact that Meta has already launched the Meta Quest Pro and HTC had recently launched its virtual reality headset with mixed reality functions, it could be possible that Apple wants to have a competitive advantage, and that's one of the reasons why they're planning to launch the mixed reality headset. But going back to the news, at this point of time, unfortunately, I do feel that this is just rumor and not legitimate news. Now, it could be possible that in the near future, Apple does give out some more clarity and we give out more information. Now, guys, let's discuss the top 5 metaverse news from around the world. And the first news is about the Apple mixed reality headset that I just talked about. The second news is a brilliant article which is written by World Economic Forum about metaverse, but they're focusing on the use case of industrial metaverse, and in the article, they're stressing the importance of industrial metaverse and what is the World Economic Forum doing in order to build a better metaverse. Now, they mentioned quite a lot of details. I would really urge you guys to go ahead and read through it. What I'll try to do is, in my Crypto and Coffee Date podcast, I'll try to go ahead in detail and try to give out more information. The third news is about L'Oreal, and L'Oreal is among new investors in the Metaverse Developer Digital Village, and the beauty giant participated in $4 million worth of funding round via its venture capital fund called Bold. The fourth news is about an article which is written, and the article talks about the top 5 federal use cases for the Metaverse Continuum, and the article discusses training, data privacy and security, collaboration, design and engineering, maintenance and healthcare. Now, this article is written by a website called as Federal News Network. It's a really interesting article. Now, the fifth news, guys, is not a positive news about Metaverse, and this is about Bill Gates. Now, Bill Gates is not a fan of Web3 and the Metaverse. Now, he recently did have an Ask Me Anything session via Reddit, and he clearly said that he's definitely not keen on Web3 and Metaverse, but he's extremely bullish on artificial intelligence, and he actually said that he did find artificial intelligence quite revolutionary. And what I really liked is that Bill Gates did actually say that he was really impressed with OpenAI's ChatGPT platform, which has been making quite a lot of news lately. And there are talks about Microsoft trying to buy OpenAI's ChatGPT for $10 billion. So definitely brilliant stuff. Now, guys, let's talk about top 5 metaverse news from Dubai. Now, the first news is an article which is written by National News, and the article talks about the metaverse job offers in UAE, from avatar fashion, design to security officers, and quite a lot more. Now, look, guys, if you're trying to get into the metaverse or trying to look at works, definitely read through the article. If you follow me on LinkedIn, you'll get access to the direct article, and in that article, they do provide the recruiter's name and quite a lot of other and this is where your networking comes into play. But nonetheless, the article talks about unique positions available with Dubai at the forefront of technology's development in the Metaverse industry. The second newscast is about Dubai Electricity and Water Authority, also called as DEWA, and Saeed Mohammed Al Tayyar, the managing director and CEO of Dubai Electricity and Water Authority, visited DEWA's Innovation Center at Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum Solar Park. And DEWA's Innovation Center offers visitors the opportunity to explore the latest innovation in clean energy technologies, watch pioneering shows using drones and hologram technology, and try several interactive experiences, including the autonomous bus ride. And Al Tayyar was also briefed on the innovative experiences that will be introduced on the fourth floor of the Innovation Center, which includes the Metaverse experience and the digital telescope, as well as the panoramic view of the solar park. So it looks like Metaverse is slowly gaining momentum. Now look guys, we are still in the early stages of Metaverse. Now it is possible that we are still in the earliest stages. Now these news may just be regular news, probably in a decade's time or so. Now the third news is about me discussing if Dubai is a red ocean or blue ocean in the Metaverse space. Now look guys, if you've studied business, you would know that blue ocean is an area where there is no competition. But when you talk about cryptocurrencies, blockchain, Web3 and Metaverse in Dubai, lately Dubai is turning out to be the red ocean. Now what that essentially means is there is so much of competition. Now this is definitely great. If you're a customer, it just means that you get cheaper products, better quality and better turnaround time. So if you look at it in terms of time, cost, quality, for an end user or for a customer, it is definitely brilliant. But if you're a startup or if you're an organization getting into the Metaverse, you need to understand that Dubai is lately turning into a red ocean, which just means that you need to offer better products and better services and stay ahead of your competition. Now, the fourth newscast connected to the Metaverse is an episode which I'm going to be releasing next week. So next week, I'm going to be interviewing the CEO and founder of a legal advisory firm in Georgia. Now, what they are planning to do is they are planning to have consultation in the Metaverse. So it's going to be absolutely brilliant. And this legal advisory firm offers legal services for individuals, businesses and entrepreneurs, and they're offering free consultation for up to 30 minutes in the Metaverse. So next week when I release the podcast, I'm going to get in-depth information as to why they have decided to get in the Metaverse, what are the challenges that they're facing, quite a lot of other. So stay tuned to listen to that episode. And the fifth and final newscast is all the way from Sharjah. And Sharjah Research Technology and Innovation Park are conducting a panel discussion on Metaverse and extended reality on the 19th of Jan. And they're also going to be having a discussion on Web 3.0 and the future of digital economy. And the session is completely free of cost, so sign up for the event. And if you do want to get through the registration link, you can go to the website of Sharjah Research Technology and Innovation Park, or alternatively, you can also go to my LinkedIn profile, scroll to the article that I published on the 14th of Jan. It has the registration link as well. So those were the newscasts from the Metaverse Everything podcast for the 14th of Jan. If you do have any feedback or suggestions, please drop me an email to info@blockchaindxp.com, and also check out my website www.blockchaindxp.com that talks everything about Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, blockchain, Metaverse, NFTs and quite a lot more. You can also check out my website area2071.com that talks everything about Metaverse. And if you do have any feedback or suggestions, please drop me an email to info@blockchaindxp.com or info@area2071.com. And remember guys, Monday to Thursdays, I do have a Crypto and Coffee at 8 session where we cover top news and information pertaining to Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi and Metaverse. And how the series of episodes in the Crypto and Coffee at 8 works is, we usually cover some top news and information pertaining to the price of cryptocurrencies, some major breaking news, occasionally short and sweet news as well, news that has an impact in the cryptocurrency world. The other two news and information is related to Dubai, UAE and Middle East and the world of Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi and Metaverse. And Monday to Thursdays, guys, we also have an Ask Me Anything series where you listeners can ask any questions from the cryptocurrency world. And what you're listening to right now is the Metaverse Everything podcast where we solely focus on Metaverse. So thanks so much for listening. And remember guys, Metaverse Everything is a research-driven podcast focusing on educational and informational content about Metaverse and its impact in Dubai and UAE. So thanks so much for listening guys, and have a brilliant weekend ahead. Bye bye.